And lastly, this is very, very important because there's been so much information about what the program is, the business record program. There are no American names in that lockbox. I think this is really important. This has been so misreported. There are only numbers in that lockbox. So the business records that are obtained from the companies have no names. They have no subscriber information. This is critically important. The only use is very, very limited when they actually have a reasonable suspicion, which is hard for me to say today, a reasonable suspicion that that phone number is tied to an overseas terrorist or terrorist organization. That's it. And when they get an answer back from that lockbox, it does not have a name attached to it. It's a phone number or a series of phone numbers that then, if they believe has a domestic connection, if they believe that, it's turned over to the FBI for further investigation. Exactly the kind of protections you would want and need, especially when you're talking about the Boston bombing, which, by the way, they used this program to try to identify other people who might be in the United States tied to a terrorist event in Boston. And, of course, the Zazi case is well documented. So we, over I think the next, hopefully the next week or so, will be able to get a declassification of information that I think will allow the American public to better understand it. The second part, I will tell you just as strongly as I can, the National Security Agency is not reading Americans' email. They are not collecting Americans' email by either of these programs. I've heard it repeated. I've heard it repeated by members of Congress and the Senate. I've heard it repeated in news outlets. That is absolutely incorrect. And that's very, very important as we understand the value of these programs and how we protect Americans' privacy.